Hi, everybody. So I'm doing this now on my phone. I'm wondering, it's a little bit different than when I came on earlier, but hopefully I can see the comments. If you are on live, please comment. That way I can say hi and address any questions that you may have. Um, so anyway, without further ado, thank you so much, Amanda, by the way, for having me back on here again. And so I wanted to come back on and talk. I realized that I wanted to talk to you guys about the yoni steams. So first off, yoni is the Sanskrit for sacred space, and it refers to a woman's womb and her vagina. And so that's yoni. And I think, I mean, that's even the word that I choose to use, with my children. I have three children, one boy and two girls. And because that is just, it's so honoring of a woman's sacred space. These are the words that I, choose to use with my children. So it's really cute. But anyway, so yoni steams, what they are is it is a system, a holistic herbal system, whereas you introduce botanical medicine into the womb via steaming. So I first heard about this like long time ago from a Moroccan girlfriend of mine. And I don't remember if I was still in acupuncture school or not, but she was like just showing it to me. She's like, oh, you got to see this stuff. Okay. Hey, Amanda. Yeah, no, it's totally cool. I'll end up sharing, this video anyway. But I just wanted to kind of introduce your group to my page and my people so that, it could be like a nice exchange there. So, okay, guys, sorry about that side note. Coming back to the yoni steams. Yeah, so she was Moroccan and I was just like, whoa, like, what is this? But I never, really did anything about it. And then, I remember, I don't remember exactly where I was. It was maybe in between my two daughters where my period would not come. And I mean, at this time I had already graduated from acupuncture school, so I had done acupuncture to myself. I was taking herbal medicines, doing all of the tools and tricks that I knew at that time to make my period come, and it wouldn't come, and so I said, you know what? I remembered, about her sharing the yoni steams with me. She didn't call them yoni steams. I mean, she speaks Moroccan. I don't even remember how she called it. But anyway, I was like, oh, you know what? Let me try this. So so knowing what I knew, because my training, my background is also in herbs, herbal therapy, specifically Chinese at the time. I said, all right, let me make a formula that I would have taken internally, but do it as a steam. So I boiled a bunch of these herbs and I got a pot and I squatted on a chair so that the steam could come up into my womb, and I covered myself from the waist down. And I ended up getting my period in like an hour. It was amazing. And then after that, I was just like, oh, wow, this is really cool, and I felt amazing. My period was just like, and I have come from a history when I was young, like when I had first gotten my periods that were like debilitating, periods that, had me on the ground, literally crawling. I remember passing out one time in Publix and people like looking up at me. I'm like, are you okay? And I'm like, yeah, I'm all right. So I have come a long way to whereas now, like I have a period and I don't have any pain. It's a really special and beautiful experience for me. And so just know that, if you are struggling with any menstrual, OBGYN, anything from PCOS to cysts to, irregular periods, even like sexual challenges with your intimacy, orgasms, not being able to orgasm or not having as strong orgasms as you want to, your creative life, because our womb literally sits down right there at our sacral chakra. It's the seat of our creativity. I mean, you think about it, like that's how we create new life, is right there in our womb. So if we're not creating new life, as in getting pregnant and creating a baby, we also have this energy to use for creating what we want in our life, for artistic, pursuits, for creating and manifesting, for attracting what we want in our life. So this is why it's called a sacred space. It is magical. It is the cauldron in which you get to, dream and work with the desires, the hidden desires of your heart. So if there's struggle down there, if there's, challenges and the terrain down there, I mean, that's just like such an opportunity, such fertile soil to start working with that and, and healing that space so that you can bring your love, you can bring your creative passions, your creations into this world, and share with all of us. For I really do truly believe that is when people, want to know what their purpose is in life, or, their gifts. It's to be you and to share what's in your heart with the world. We all came here to be lights, and that's what the heart is, a light. It's the sun, and the heart, the sun shines down. Like that's when the sun shines on the water, and the moon also does this too. It's shining a light into the darkness, into everything that's below, where we are unique, because in our hearts, we're all the same, right? The light in me, that's what namaste actually means. It means the light in me recognizes the light in you, because it's the same. We are all sparks of the divine, but yet down deep in those waters is where we are different. And this is what comes alive when we engage with our creativity, when we are even engaged sexually. It's somebody else investigating and fusing and seeing our hiddenness, seeing where we are unique, where we are like no other. And we're always in that moment new, so there's a beautiful magic that happens when we bring awareness to this, the seat of our power, especially, I mean, as for women, why we do hold so much power. We create the matrix, the actual Morpheus, which is the unconscious. It's the foundation, it's the grid work upon which everything else in our life builds upon. So I'm going to get to blood. Blood is one thing that I really do want to speak about and touch upon some more. But before I do that, coming back to the steams, going back to the challenges, all of this can be healed. You too can heal. It's not like a curse or a static thing like, oh, you have PCOS, like you're going to have it for life. No. I've seen so many women that even after giving birth, their whole health changes because of that massive cleansing. I mean, you lose so much blood in childbirth, or you can, and that's going with any creation, anything that you bring out. I mean, you have to open up to the divine coming through your heart and down, and then it comes out. It cleanses and opens you. So that does not have to be a reality. Pain does not have to be your reality. Discharges, vaginal discharges, infections, STDs, these things do not have to be your day in, day out reality. And if they are, there are always opportunities for growth and for healing. And yoni steams is one such tool that I just feel and have seen to be so powerful in healing our womb. So I got super curious and creative, and I said, all right, well, I guess I can create different formulas, with different herbs for specific imbalances. And I ended up making my formulas a lot based upon, what women, what their challenges was. If they didn't have enough yang energy in their body, meaning they tended to run cold, they were tired, they suffered from fatigue or low libido, low creative drive, that creates a whole set of symptoms within the body. So I created a formula for that. Then there's another formula that is for women that have not enough yin in the body. So this could be anything from just being anxious all the time. Like when you don't have enough yin in the body, you have an excess of yang. So we want yin and yang to be in balance. So if your yin is down here, then you've got like this extra nervous energy throughout the system, and this creates inflammation. So you could have like dryness in the vagina. You could have pain with intercourse because there isn't enough lubrication. Menopausal symptoms such as hot flashes, insomnia, just being restless, not feeling like you can actually just be. So that's just very basic yin and yang formulas. There's other ones, and all of these you have access to on my website. But so I just wanted to show you, this is a yoni steam formula. I make them like this, whoops. And then I house them in these lace bags. But essentially what they are they're tea bags that I, formulate the herbs. I put them into this tea bag. Okay, and then what you do is you boil those herbs for 10 minutes. And what this does is this actually, a lot of herbs do not release their properties, do not release their magic, their juice, unless they're put in really high temperatures. You know that expression, like put a woman in hot water and you see who she really is? It's the same thing with herbs. This is nature. You put something in hot water, it's going to release its magic. So I found this to be really, really important. There's other, systems out there that don't have, it's just really important that with herbal formulas that they get this enough boiling, exposure to the high temperatures and the steam, the water. So you would boil that for 10 minutes. And then they have yoni steam stools that you can actually, have whole, kind of like, they look like little like potty training chairs, like where there's a hole cut out in the center and then you sit upon. You can use those, you can purchase those, but you don't have to use those. I don't use those right now, but you can just sit on the edge of a chair, make sure you're covered from the waist down. And I have a video that I did that's on my website if you need more like visual, because I'm not going to do that now. But anyway, you cover yourself from the waist down after you've boiled the herbs for 10 minutes, and then you place that cauldron. You use a special pot, and you put that on the floor, spread your legs, sit on the edge of the chair, and then you will, making sure the steam stays inside that covering. Hi, Nadia. Thank you so much for coming on. And if you have any questions, please let me know. I'm wondering if I can see comments on here, but anyway, maybe this is where they're at. Oh, that's for me. All right, I'll come back to that. So yeah, and so you allow the steam to come up into the vajay-jay and you relax. Like when I do this, I put on binaurals, I put on like music, and I use this time as a meditation, and you allow the steam. So kind of like when you steam your face, and think about what that does to your skin, how it cleanses your skin and it's bringing, whatever you're steaming into and it's absorbing. The vagina like really absorbs, think about like how much our skin absorbs. Everything we put on our skin is absorbed through the tissues. Our vagina, our sexual parts, especially men. I'm going to get into another topic about that and condoms and how I feel about condoms. But, again, these are all my opinions, but it's so porous. Like we absorb so much. So that's why there's this whole movement too around tampons, and what you're putting up there, to absorb the menstrual blood. If you're putting, stuff up there that's bleached, or if you're allowing those things to sit up there for a long time, it's absorbing that. It can potentially be toxic, hence why they have those warning labels on tampons boxes. So anyway, Yeah, it's highly, highly absorbent. So by introducing these herbal formulas, you're able to correct hormonal imbalances. It's great, like, for if you're having anything pretty much down there, even like bladder type stuff, anal type things, such as like hemorrhoids or a prolapse of the anus, or of the bladder, of the vagina. This will help to lift everything back up in there, supporting it. And, I've had people call me back and be like, oh my God, I did this and I have like the best orgasm ever. I mean, if that's not a reason enough to like be curious, but it just, the results have been incredible that I've heard from patients. So this was an example, of the yoni steam. See, this is another formula that I have. I'll link some info on here so that if you guys want to check them out, or if you have any questions, you guys can contact me. It's really easy. And then I have all the directions on how to use the formula all written here. And there's three tea bags in here, so there's 3 servings. So you don't ever want to do yoni steams when you're on your menstrual period, right? Because stuff's coming out, really. But you can do it every day, as often as every day. And it is important knowing what you are steaming with herbal wise, because, if you've got, a heat condition in your womb and you're putting steaming herbs that build heat in the body, herbs that are energetically hot, you are creating a problem. You are not balancing your terrain, your situation down there. You're making things potentially worse. So it's really important to know, if you don't know what you're doing, if you don't know the properties of herbs, that you speak to a physician, you do your research, you educate, and you find out, what you should be using. Because just like with anything, like when you introduce herbs into the body, they have a reaction. And herbs, are different from medications in that they may not work right away, like it's not as drastic as a prescription medication, thank God, but it still does have an effect. So it is a form of medicine. So just be mindful when, playing around with these things or introducing these things to your body. So coming back to the tampons, and they've got like diva cups now. So, and I think this is super cool because I wrote about this yesterday, actually, on a post about the concept of sacrifice and how every month when we bleed as women, we are sacrificing our blood. When a baby is in our womb, that baby is literally feeding at our life force. It is eating our blood. That's how it grows. So we are sacrificing a part of ourself and our life force in order for new life. It's kind of like a down payment, like if you want to create something or build something, or like a business, or you get a car or a house or whatever, there's like a down payment you got to put down. It's a type of, so the same thing with menstrual blood, is it is a sacrifice, and it's a sacrifice that we could, offer to the earth. You can use your menstrual blood and pour it into your garden soil, use it to fertilize your plants. You could do it in rituals, and I think working with blood is it kind of is a lost art, there's so much rawness and vitality within blood, so you can do rituals with blood, mixing different substances with the blood, putting it on your skin, just getting, like a different relationship to your own blood. I've had some people ask me like questions about like sex and like having sex on your period, and and sometimes like some women are super, super horny during their menstrual cycle, and others aren't, and some people feel weird about it, and there's like this whole thing, right? So something that's just interesting to think about is, first of all, when a woman bleeds, she's super open energetically. physically she's more open. So if you are going to engage in sexual intercourse with somebody, or even just anybody, just where you are sharing energy with another being, just know, number one, you're really open. You are porous. You're the most open and porous that you will be in a cycle of 30 days. That's your cycle. So if you're having sex with somebody and you're open like that, know that their energy most likely is going to stay with you for a while, energetically. So that's just something to be discerning about, you know? So I'm not saying yes or no, it's a good or a bad. I personally don't believe in good or bad. I believe everything is an opportunity for the soul, for understanding and growth. I do believe in life affirming and not life affirming choices and activities. So just, you know, I mean, there's a lot that you can do. You know, you can actually really create a fusion with somebody if you are going to, you know, engage with them sexually while you're on your moon. There's a lot, you know, to that. A lot of, you know, a lot of shadow material. Shadow meaning, you know, everything that emotionally we push down that is in the blood. And so to introduce that to a man or a woman, however that works for you, your choices, you know, for them to absorb that is, you know, I think number one, good to be aware of. Like you are literally really, I mean, a lot of shadow stuff comes up anyway when we're engaging in sexual energy, but even more so because it's blood, right? It's physical. It's like, you know, kind of like taking a prescription medication is so potent because it's such powerful poison or toxin versus doing energetic healing or vibrational healing. It's much more ethereal, you know, it's not a material sort of things. There is a spectrum there that happens. So anytime you're working with the material, there is a much kind of like more material response, you know, it's much more physical, you know, so that's kind of interesting. I wish I could see comments because I would love it if people were like asking questions about this, but maybe for another time. So all right, so we spoke about yoni steams, we've spoken about, you know, the different types of pads, or I didn't really speak about pads, but I think that this is something up for experimentation. Oh, and another thing that's like super cool is also how things are like so in tune. Today, the sign of Venus, the planet Venus, which Venus rules over women, the feminine, the sacred feminine, our love, what we value, our money, our relationships. She is moving into the sign of Aquarius today. Anytime a planet moves into a different sign, their planet's signature, their energy it's extra strong. You feel it. So I would really, you know, pay attention to anything, you know, that's related to those topics. There is an awareness. There's something for us to learn. And, you know, it's because it's in the sign of Aquarius. This is about the mind. It's about our communities, our tribes, our groups. I think it's no coincidence that here I am, like it wasn't planned this way, or it was a divine plan, right, Amanda? As to this is what's being spoken about today. So, you know, about trying different things. Actually, Aquarius rules over acupuncture and astrology, anything that's vibrational. So be open to, you know, getting different information, to being curious, to trying new things. So I encourage you to try new things with, you know, with sexuality, with your relationships. You know, of course, do this with mindfulness and do this with so much respect for, you know, for yourself and for other people, but play around with like, all right, how does it feel when I use, you know, a Diva cup or whatever, you know, they have different, you know, different brands and things like that versus using a tampon versus using a pad. You know, it's getting curious, you know, like Aquarius is the sign, you know, that is like the mad scientist of the zodiac. You know, it wants to kind of do things different, do things that are maybe a little weird, that are a little out there, a little foreign, maybe in the future, you know? And so as our planet is evolving, right, and healing, we spoke about this in the other video about our planet and our waters and the animals and, you know, and what is needed, you know, for the future. What are we moving towards? What is the sacred feminine moving towards collectively, you know, as this whole time is up. This is totally has another astrological implication, or even the Me Too movement. There's things happening in the cosmos that is reflecting that there is this waking up happening of the goddess energy, of the feminine energy rising. Even on our planet, the whole talk about global warming, what is that? If there's too much heat, there's not enough yin. Why our planet needs more yin. It needs its water, its yin, its women, its animals, the food, how we nourish ourselves, how we're aware of our emotions. All of this needs to change. All of this needs to grow to bring balance. And so our planet can heal, so that we don't have global warming, so that we don't have this pollution. You know, we have to start thinking of solutions and ways to change things that, you know, to bring things into greater balance and harmony. And that is part of my mission, you know, is doing that within myself and sharing what I've learned with others, and just being curious. Like, this is all, everybody, we've all got a journey. There was this woman that, you know, shared about how she was on the pill for like all of these years and the complications that came with that. And now just like how her power was taken away. And, you know, can we look at things from a different perspective, from a soul's point of view? Like, we bring things, we choose our life, we choose our sexuality, we choose the people in our life, you know, and our circumstances to learn, for evolution, for our soul's growth. And there is something that, you know, from experiencing pain, from experiencing abuse, from experiencing rape, from experiencing, you know, any challenges, you know, that we learn from that and grow. And sometimes that can only happen by, you know, acknowledging that, one, I wanted to learn about this. So on some level, I chose that so that I could actually feel it and touch it, and then have compassion for myself, and then have compassion for other people that are experiencing this as well, and be able to share my message. And what happens when we do that? We all become level. We all become one. You know, we all recognize that we're all the same, and we can transcend the lower vibrational stuff, you know, the judgments, the anger, the belief systems that really aren't supporting life, you know, as it is now. Like, things that may have worked 100 years ago may not work now. And there are things that did work 100 years ago and they still work now, you know, and that's, I think, so beautiful as well, is knowing what things are sustainable, you know, what practices, what ancient practices, what mysteries were present. Like, all of these things that I'm talking about are actually things that were practiced a long, long time ago, prior to a patriarchal world society. You know, feminine mysteries, worshiping the moon, worshiping our menstrual cycle, working with our blood, delving into these mysteries, you know, sacred sexual rites. So, yeah, I have to get ready now for patients. But thank you so much for tuning in. Stay tuned. I'm going to link my website, and you know, if you guys want to join, I do a newsletter bi-weekly, twice a month, that's in alignment with the new and the full moons. A lot of my stuff is health focused and goddess focused on the feminine, so there's a lot of juicy, good info on there. You know, I do readings, astrological readings, especially those that focus on the body. It's called Heavenly Bodies, where we look at your astro chart and actually, and you know, and see how is that manifesting, and create a user's manual for you, and to start working with, you know, the planets and the moon and your cycle. So that's all on my website. It's my name, stephaniecrystalpierre.com. And, you know, if you guys have any questions, I'll go back in here on the comments and answer those. But please feel free to, share with me what you think about this. And I look forward to reading them and connecting with you more. Amanda, this is so awesome. Thank you so much for, you know, for your passion for healing and for healthy eating and intuitive. I just like, even the name of your group is just like bangarang dynamite, like intuitive eating for energy. If that is not a symbol for a balance and a uniting of the sacred masculine and the sacred feminine, you know, the sun and the moon, it's so beautiful. So thank you so much for inviting me, for having me here, introducing me to your lovely group, and hope you guys enjoy this fabulous day. Namaste. Mwah. Bye.